edu.tv_HEC پر. ناظرین، ای کچہری کا مقصد ہائر ایجوکیشن میں پیش آنے والے مسائل کو حکومتی سطح تک پہنچانا ہے اور ان مسائل کو حل کرنا ہے. اس کے علاوہ حکومت کی جانب سے شروع کیے جانے والے ترقیاتی منصوبوں کے بارے میں لوگوں کو آگاہی فراہم کرنا ہے اور آپ کی شکایات اور سوالات کو حل کرنا ہے. آپ اپنی شکایات PMDU کی ویب سائٹ، جسے ہم سٹیزنز پورٹل بھی کہتے ہیں، اس پر درج کر سکتے ہیں. اس کے علاوہ ہمارے ٹویٹر اکاؤنٹ پر بھی آپ ہمیں کمپلینٹس بھیج سکتے ہیں. ہماری پوری کوشش ہوگی کہ ہم آپ کے سوالات کو ہائر ایجوکیشن ٹیلی ویژن چینل کے ذریعے حکومت تک پہنچائیں. ناظرین، ریسرچ اینڈ انوویشن ڈویژن تمام ہائر ایجوکیشن انسٹیٹیوشنز میں کوالٹی ریسرچ کلچر کے فروغ کے لیے اہم کردار ادا کر رہا ہے، جس سے اہم سماجی مسائل کو حل کرنے میں مدد ملے گی. اس کے ساتھ ساتھ بین الاقوامی سطح پر بھی تحقیق کو فروغ ملے گا. R&I کے تحت جن پروگرامز کا افتتاح کیا جا رہا ہے، ان میں ریسرچ گرانٹ پروگرامز، HEC ریسرچ ایوارڈز، HEC ریکگنائزڈ جرنلز، HEC ڈیجیٹل لائبریری، ریسرچ فار انوویشن، سائنٹیفک ریویو پینل، کیپیسٹی بلڈنگ انیشیٹیوز شامل ہیں. آج کا ہمارا موضوع ہے ریسرچ گرانٹس. ناظرین، HEC کی جانب سے ملک بھر میں 2 طرح کی گرانٹس فراہم کی جا رہی ہیں: کمپیٹیٹیو ریسرچ گرانٹس اور موبلٹی گرانٹس. اس کے بارے میں بات کرنے کے لیے اس وقت ہمارے ساتھ موجود ہیں ہماری معزز گیسٹ، ایگزیکٹو ڈائریکٹر ہائر ایجوکیشن کمیشن ڈاکٹر شائستہ سہیل. آئیے انہیں ویلکم کرتے ہیں. السلام علیکم میم.
السلام علیکم
میم، ہاؤ آر یو؟
فائن، تھینک یو سو مچ میم، گڈ ٹو سی یو اگین.
تھینک یو میم. میم، جیسے ہمارا ٹاپک ہے ریسرچ گرانٹس، تو میں پوچھنا چاہ رہی تھی کہ نیشنل ریسرچ پروگرام
کو بتائیں کہ پروگرام شروع ہو گیا.
نیشنل ریسرچ پروگرام فار یونیورسٹیز NRPU یہ کیا ہے اور یہ کس طرح سے کام کر رہا ہے؟
جو نیشنل ریسرچ پروگرام فار یونیورسٹیز ہے، دس از ون آف آر اولڈسٹ پروگرامز آف دا ہائر ایجوکیشن کمیشن. اور یہ جو ہے یہ بالکل یہ بھی اسی طرح کام کرتا ہے کہ جو پروفیسر صاحبان ہیں، فیکلٹی ہے، وہ اپنے جو پروپوزلز ہیں وہ HEC کو بھیجتے ہیں. پھر اس میں ہمارے پینلز ہم نے آئیڈینٹیفائی کیے ہوتے ہیں پیئر ریویو کے، جن کو جو کہ ان کو اچھی طرح جانچ پرکھ کے دیکھتے ہیں کہ یہ از اٹ اے گڈ پروپوزل آن وچ وی کین دا گورنمنٹ آف پاکستان کین اسپینڈ منی، کہ اس کی جو آؤٹ کمز ہوں گی اس سے سوسائٹل بینیفٹ کیا ہوگا، واٹ ایشوز وڈ بی ایڈریسڈ. اور اب تو بہت زیادہ اس بات کا خیال ہے کہ اگر کوئی ایسی انوویشنز ہیں جس کے اندر ٹیکنالوجی کے اسپیکٹس ہیں، تو اس کو ہم اس کا پروٹوٹائپ ڈیولپ ہونے کے بعد اس کو ہم کمرشلائز بھی کریں. تو یہ جو ہے ہمارے جو یہ پروجیکٹس ہیں، ٹوٹل ابھی تک 3689 اس کے تحت ہم نے دیے ہیں. اور ان کی ساروں کی جو ہے یہ دے آر پبلشڈ ان انٹرنیشنل جرنلز، اور تاکہ یہ پھر باقی لوگوں تک پہنچیں اور اس کی جو فائدہ ہے وہ ہماری انڈسٹری کو بھی ہو اور تمام لوگوں کو ہو اس کا. تو یہ جو نیشنل ریسرچ پروجیکٹ یونیورسٹی کا جو ہے پروجیکٹ، یہ بہت جو ہے اس کی مانگ ہے اور ڈیمانڈ ہے، اور ہر سال بہت سے جو ہیں ہمیں پروپوزلز آتے ہیں اس کو انٹرٹین کرنے کے لیے ہمارے پاس. اور جو زیادہ تر سبجیکٹس جس کے اندر یہ آتے ہیں وہ بایو ٹیکنالوجی ہے، اکنامک سوشل ریسرچ ہے، اکنامک اینڈ سوشل ریسرچ، انجینئرنگ سائنسز، میڈیکل اینڈ فارماسیوٹیکل، نیچرل انوائرمنٹ، فزیکل سائنسز، سوشل سائنسز، ویٹرنری سائنسز. اور سب سے زیادہ جو ہے وہ فزیکل سائنسز میں 883 پروپوزلز اب تک آ چکے ہیں. تو اٹس اے بگ ڈیل. تو اب اس کا اگر آپ اس کو انالیٹکلی اس کو دیکھیں تو اس سے پتہ چلتا ہے کہ جب یہ پروگرام لانچ ہوا تو اس وقت پاکستان کی جو یونیورسٹیز ہیں ان کے اندر اتنا ریسرچ کا کلچر نہیں تھا، بہت زیادہ ایمفسس صرف پڑھائی پہ تھا. تو جبکہ ریسرچ از این انٹیگرل پارٹ آف ہائر ایجوکیشن. تو وہ یہ اس نیشنل ریسرچ پروگرام کے تحت یہ ساری جو ریسرچ ہے یہ چلی. اس کا ایک اور یہ فائدہ ہوتا ہے کہ جب جو ہم یہ گرانٹس دیتے ہیں ان سے لوگ اپنی لیبارٹریز بناتے ہیں. دو راستے ہیں لیبارٹریز وغیرہ بنانے کے. ایک پبلک سیکٹر ڈیولپمنٹ پروگرام ہے اور ایک ہے ڈائریکٹلی جو ہمیں یہ بھی حکومت کی گرانٹ آتی ہے تو یہ ہم ان کو دیتے ہیں. تو اس سے لیبارٹریز بنتی ہیں, کیمیکلز خریدے جاتے ہیں, ٹولز ہوتے ہیں. تو ایون ونس دا ریسرچ پروجیکٹ اینڈس دا لیبارٹری اینڈ اکوپمنٹ اسٹیز اینڈ اٹ از یوٹیلائزڈ بائی اسٹوڈنٹس فار اے لانگ وائل. تو یہ ان کی بڑی افادیت ہے اور اس سے بچوں کی بھی ٹریننگ ہو جاتی ہے, ان کو پتہ چلتا ہے کیا ریسرچ میتھڈالوجی ہے, کس طرح آپ نے ریسرچ کرنی ہے, کیا آپ نے ڈیولپ کرنا ہے اپنا جو ہے پروپوزل, اور پروپوزل لکھنا اپنے کس طرح ہے. بیکاز ہمیں اس دفعہ جو پچھلے سال جو پروپوزلز آئے, آگے میں آپ کو ان کا بتاؤں گی, تو ان میں they weren't written well, ان کو پتہ نہیں تھا. تو اب اس سال ہم ان کو کوچ کر رہے ہیں کہ کس ہاؤ یو پریزنٹ پروپوزل پراپرلی, کیونکہ جب آپ اس کو جی صحیح لکھیں گے تو پھر اسی سے اس کی جو آؤٹ کمز وغیرہ جو ہیں وہ صحیح جو ہے طرح سے وہ اچیو کر پائیں گے اور یوزفل ہوں گی.
میم ہمارا ٹاپک ہے ریسرچ گرانٹس. تو گرانٹ چیلنج فنڈ اور لوکل چیلنج فنڈ, یہ دو گرانٹس دی جا رہی ہیں, ان میں کیا ڈفرینس ہے؟
یہ ہمارا یہ تو ہو گیا نا نیشنل ریسرچ جو ابھی آپ کو بتا دیا ہے, جو جی NRPU. اس کے بعد ہمارا ایک پروگرام ہے ہائر ایجوکیشن ڈیولپمنٹ پروگرام. یہ پروگرام جو ہے یہ ہم ورلڈ بینک کی $400 ملین کی لون بیسڈ فنڈنگ ہے. لیکن اس کے اندر بڑی اچھی بات یہ ہے کہ یہ DLI بیسڈ ہے. تو جو DLI بیسڈ کا مطلب ہے کہ ڈسبرسمنٹ لنکڈ انڈیکیٹرز, اس کو آپ کئی طرح سے اس نومنکلیچر کو آپ یوز کر سکتے ہیں. بیسیکلی آئیڈیا یہ ہے کہ اگر ہم وہ آبجیکٹیوز اچیو کر لیں جس کے لیے ہم یہ پیسہ لے کے لگا رہے ہیں, تو حکومت کو وہ پیسے واپس آ جائیں گے. اور آئی فیل ریئلی گڈ ان رپورٹنگ ٹوڈے وین دس کھلی کچہری کہ ہم جو ہمارا اس کا حصہ تھا اس کا HEDP کا meant for being funded through the recurring grant, اس کا ہم 24% جو ہے وہ حکومت کو واپس آ چکا ہے. اور یہ بڑا ریگرس پروسیس ہوتا ہے, اس کو تھرڈ پارٹی آڈٹ کے ذریعے ویریفائی کیا جاتا ہے, اور ہم جتنا اچھا اور ٹرانسپیرنٹ کر سکتے ہیں اسے کرتے ہیں. اور ایک اس کا یہ ہے کہ اگر خدا نہ خواستہ یہ ٹرانسپیرنٹ نہ ہو تو ابھی تک آپ کو پتہ ہے کہ کتنی لوگوں کی شکایتیں آ جاتی ہیں سب. تو یہ اٹس اے سکسیس. وہ پیئر ریویورز جو ہوتے ہیں ان کو پتہ ہوتا ہے یہ پروپوزل کس کے ہیں, لیکن جو جس نے پرنسپل انویسٹیگیٹر نے جس نے اپنا پروپوزل ڈالا ہے اس کو نہیں پتا ہوتا. تو اب یہ having said that, now you ask that what is the difference between local challenge fund and grant challenge fund. تو جو گرانٹ چیلنج فنڈ ہے وہ کوئی 225 ملین اپ ٹو 225 ملین کا ہم فنڈنگ دیتے ہیں, اور اس کے اندر یہ ہوتا ہے کہ اس میں ایک کنسورشیم آف یونیورسٹیز, اور یونیورسٹیز 32 یونیورسٹیز ہیں پاکستان کی جو کہ ہیں ریسرچ انٹینسو یونیورسٹیز who are focused more on research. اور وہ جو ہیں وہ ادھر سے ان کا پرنسپل انویسٹیگیٹر ہوتا ہے, اور پھر ان کے کو PIs ہوتے ہیں, اینڈ دیز آر سپوز ٹو بی ایکسلنٹ پروجیکٹس. اب میں یہ بتانا چاہتی ہوں کہ ہمارا کتنا ریگرس لیول ہے اس کو ان کو جو ہے ریویو کرنے کا, کہ پچھلے سال صرف 5 پروجیکٹ ہم نے دیے. صرف 5 پروجیکٹ جو تھے دے میٹ دا کرائیٹیریا, ٹھیک ہے, جو کہ ضروری ہوتے ہیں. تو یہ میں بتانا یہ چاہ رہی ہوں کہ یہ دس از ناٹ جسٹ وی آر ٹیکنگ لون فار ایزی تھنگس ٹو ڈو. It's very difficult, and the loan which we are taking is going to address big issues across sectors. پانی کے, بجلی کے, انرجی کے, جو بھی ہے وہ, اور پھر اس کی یہ ریکوائرمنٹ ہے کہ they will be published, and then they will be also be not only published but they will be implemented. جی اور جو لوکل چیلنج فنڈ از ڈفرینٹ بکاز ایک تو اس کی جو سیلنگ ہے وہ 10 ملین وہ ہے 100 ملین کی 10 کروڑس وہ 100 ملین کی اس کی سیلنگ ہے اور اس کے اندر وہ والی یونیورسٹیز بھی آ سکتی ہیں جو کہ یو نو برادر وہ جو کہ ریسرچ انٹینسو نہیں ہیں اور لیکن جو ایشو انہوں نے ایڈریس کرنے ہیں وہ لوکل ایشوز ہیں. یو نو کمیونٹی کے پاس سے کوئی نہر جا رہی ہے اور فیکٹری جو ہے اس میں دھڑا دھڑ وہ ڈال رہی ہے اپنا ویسٹ پلوٹ کر رہی ہے تو وہ they can come up with a proposal on how to ensure that waste is detoxified before it enters our water. یہ نہر کی جو ہے کنال جو ہے اس کو انٹر کرتا ہے. تو یہ اس کے اندر فرق یہ ہوگا اور اس پچھلے سال کیونکہ لوکل چیلنج فنڈ کے جو پروجیکٹس تھے they weren't well written at all. سو ہم نے کیا کیا کہ جو گرانٹ چیلنج تھا اس میں ورلڈ بینک ایگریڈ اور اب ہم 10+10 کریں گے. اس سال جو اوارڈ کریں گے ان میں 10 وہ والے ہوں گے جو کہ گرانٹ چیلنج فنڈ اتنے اچھے نہیں تھے کہ they make it to the grand challenge fund, but 10 of them will be kept for the local challenge fund. جبکہ جو لوکل چیلنج فنڈ ہے اس کا جو ڈیزائن ہے اس کا ڈیزائن یہ ہے کہ جو پرنسپل انویسٹیگیٹر ہوگا he will be from a ordinary university, while it will be mandatory for them to involve a co-PI from a research intensive university. تو یہ بڑی کراس پولینیشن ہوگی اور ان کو جو سیکھے ہوئے ہیں اور بہت اچھی ریسرچ کرتے ہیں they will get a chance to spread it to the others in our other universities. اور اس سے ہوگا یہ جی کہ یہ جو بھی ہم نے ان کے ٹاپکس ڈالے ہیں نا ویسٹ مینجمنٹ واٹر مینجمنٹ انرجی ایشوز وہ سب جو ایس ڈی آئیز کو بھی سسٹینیبل ڈیولپمنٹ گولز جو ایس ڈی جیز کو بھی وہ ایڈریس کرتے ہیں. سو دس از گوئنگ ٹو بی دیز آر ریئلی گڈ پروجیکٹس اینڈ ان شاء اللہ وی ہوپ فل اینڈ آلریڈی ہمیں بڑے اچھے ان کے جو ہیں ریزلٹس آ رہے ہیں. اور ابھی ادھر آنے سے پہلے بھی مجھے جب میں نے ان سے پوچھا کہ جب یہ جیسے ہی رزلٹ آئیں گے تو وی ہیو ٹو شو کیس دیم. They are not going to go and sit on a shelf or we will inshallah we will ensure that the public and the universities know about them through online workshops, seminars and meetings etc. جو ہے تو so basically یہ تو یہ ہے آپ کا جو گرانٹ چیلنج فنڈ اور یہ لوکل چیلنج فنڈ. جی
اوکے میم. Ma'am, what's the difference between technology transfer support fund and technology development fund? Are they both different?
Their objective is the same. The objective is that the technology or the innovation which is thrown up as a result of research, the prototype gets developed and it goes to the industry and is utilized beneficially. While in the technology support fund, it's a PSDP initiative. It's been going on for a long while. اور جبکہ جو دوسرا ہے ٹی ٹی جو ہے ٹیکنالوجی ٹرانسفر سپورٹ فنڈ وہ ابھی اٹس اے پارٹ آف دا HEDP initiative. So you will realize that Pakistan is a huge country. We've got 240 plus universities. تو یہ جتنے بھی انیشیٹیوز ہیں یہ کم ہیں تاکہ ہمارے جو انٹیلیجنٹ بچے ہیں the cream of the nation who are doing this research, they get sufficient opportunities or to address the issues and then to use them in the industry. So basically that is the difference between the two funds.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can you tell us something about Innovative and Collaborative Research Grant, ICRG?
The Innovative and Collaborative Research Grant and are the initiatives in which we are, I think, using the UK-Pakistan Gateway. Under that, this grant is there, and the idea is that our students get an opportunity to go abroad and you utilize the facilities abroad to carry out research. So these collaborative initiatives, there are 3 of them, and one is the one with under the UK Gateway Exchange, and then we've got one with Turkey and one with France as well. And in all these, the design is that both the governments will pay for their own research scholars, but through this, the scholars will be facilitated, the researchers will be facilitated to go and find a place in the university abroad, right? And similarly, the ones in Pakistan will be able to go to Turkey, for instance, and the ones who are in France will be able to come to Pakistan. So these are similar collaborative ventures. Okay. So you said something?
Ma'am, Rapid Research and Innovation Initiative is also the same as like ICRG?
The rapid research initiatives have been recently, introduced, for instance, to deal with COVID. So we have already disbursed the money, and the grants have gone to the researchers, and we are expecting that in end of December we would start getting the results. I think some of the grants have been given on COVID, to how to deal with COVID, and similar such issues which want, rapid redressal. So for that purpose, the rapid research grants have been disbursed.
Okay. Ma'am, these are the grants which fall under competitive research grants. There are some mobility grants as well, like Park France, Peridot Research Program, Park Turk Researchers Mobility Grant, Pakistan Program for Collaborative Research, and Park US Joint Research Program. Could you tell us about that?
Yes. If we look at the earlier model, the rapid research grants, and I earlier spoke to you about the UK grant, and then you've got the US, and all these are collaborative, because we will be moving our researchers to those countries, and researchers from there would be coming to Pakistan, and they will be picking up their own costs. Right. So these projects, I just checked if they were going on, but they are in their last stages, and the last intakes which we took were in 2018 to 2019. So inshallah we will start getting the results of this research, because as you know, the output of research depends on the quality of research. And how to exactly follow the best methods which are developed as technology is improving in the West for every case. And so when these researchers, they come back, hopefully we will start getting much better output from our research. And there are frequent questions that are posed to me everywhere, like, you've spent so much, so what do we have to show for it? So what we have to show for it is that, a research culture has developed, and unfortunately in the past a proper track has not been kept. But now we are keeping track, and we are also trying to, record, because we do have the information to record it, and inshallah we will soon be able to showcase on our website what all we've achieved. Not only through research grants, but also through scholarships. So there are so many of our vice chancellors now I meet, they tell us we are beneficiaries of HEC research grants or HEC scholarships. and they're really grateful to the government of Pakistan that because of the government of Pakistan supporting them, they've achieved the distinction of doing so well abroad, and now they've come back and they're serving in Pakistan. So, and there are multiple other also, because I just posed the question to my team, like what all, they said we've developed artificial skin, and it is even being used through our research grants. So inshallah we're going to tabulate it, and we are going to let the public know and the other institutions know that in what all areas we've done well through utilization of these research grants.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, now let's move on to the queries and complaints and few suggestions as well. So should we start?
Yeah, please.
What are the challenges of research in developing countries? Shahid Awan.
Well, there are really a lot of genuine challenges. When the primary challenge is that research is costly. And we really all the time we are short of funds, and if you look at other sectors or other countries, they are devoting a huge proportion of their budget to higher education and research in particular. So that's one challenge. Then the other challenges are that our linkages are not very well developed with the industry. So prototypes are formed, but they are not, actually, they're not manufactured, they're not commercialized. So we've been at HEC, we are trying to find out what is missing. We've set up ORIX, we've set up BEX, we're trying to, fast track all these, initiatives, and we're working hard. But what we found out was that in the West, there are certain firms who come to the universities and say that they charge a fee, and they say that the industry needs this solution. They need this product. And then the university professors, they get together and they come up with an innovative idea, and they come up with a product, and they register it and all. And then this firm, it goes back to the industry, and it sells the idea to the industry. And so that industry then develops it and commercializes it. So I've met some people, and we're trying to take a look at it as how we can also come up with some equivalent idea. Then another point which I belabor a lot, and wherever I go, is that our commercialization is costly. Because, okay, you've got a very innovative idea and everything, but it has to be cost effective. It has to be something which can be, which is affordable, not prohibitively costly. So why is it costly? Because Pakistan is not manufacturing the materials.
Okay.
So what happened is that the other day I was at a very nice ceremony in which all what students had done was displayed, and then I asked them that the materials, have these materials been manufactured locally? They said no, they are imported. So as soon as you start importing a material, you cannot make it competitive. You cannot make a competitive product. So what is the solution? The solution is, I've been asking a lot of universities to start metallurgical departments to initiate, where you go in for providing facilities on how to manufacture these materials. If you go to China, there, even in the private sector, they are able to very easily come up with their own materials. Only in plastics, Or, there are hundreds of varieties of different kinds of plastics, so much so that now luggage and bags, which in our time used to be made of predominantly leather or, such or other organic materials, now they are made of artificial materials. Golf clubs used to be made of wood or or reinforced with steel. So, but now you've got different materials from which all these sports equipments are being made. So the point is that we have to also invest in materials, in the science of metallurgy, the science of materials. So all these are so when you look at research, it's not only research methodology and all, but even if you've successfully developed a prototype, then how to make it commercially viable. So there are a number of other things, cost of energy, and how to get around that. And it's a complex issue, but I'm sure that these challenges are confronted by everyone across the globe, and we will be able to, inshallah, tackle them.
Ma'am, Awais Rahman has asked, is there any grant for cultural heritage research?
There is no bar on any subject or topic, especially under the National Research University program. This year we've been given instructions that we have to give out 1,000 research grants, inshallah. So there's no bar. If somebody's got a very good proposal on cultural heritage which will somehow affect society positively, I'm sure our research panelists would approve it. And what I'd like to emphasize is that HEC's role is just to act as the secretariat to all these panels and ensure that it's done in a most competitive and transparent way. So if you've got your proposals, you please, I think we are accepting proposals these days, so he or she is most welcome to come in with the proposals, and they should be well written. And we are offering guidance on how to write proposals as well these days.
That's also great. There must be a website that collects and presents all research grants and fellowships available for scholars in the social sciences and humanities for PhD researchers. Leila Rizvi.
Well, I'm not sure that we are providing all this information on our website, but we will, inshallah, make sure that all research that already stands carried out in Pakistan is easily accessible. And I know there are a lot of links where research papers are already accessible in the public domain. And most universities also have their research easily accessible by other students, because it's useful. And if it is not easily accessible, then it's difficult to cite other papers which are not in the public domain. So all researchers try their best to immediately publish their articles, their research, and for that purpose the HEC has a list of journals which we recognize, and that HEC list of recognized journals is also available, and we encourage all our researchers to publish their work in those journals which stand recognized by the HEC, because otherwise they wouldn't get credit for it if they are published in journals which are not recognized by HEC, because it's only quality papers and quality research that is published in quality journals. So those are some of the points I'd like to respond with.
Okay, ma'am, there are increased concerns about HEC providing scholarship for postgraduate studies abroad and in Pakistan, who leave the country after obtaining their degrees. Yusuf Khan.
I'd like to clarify that always there's been a guarantee, and people are pledging their houses before they go abroad, because God forbid if the child is unable to complete their PhD, then they have to reimburse all that money to the government, whatever has been spent, because this is taxpayers' money, and we have very stringent rules on it. And we've got our legal advisor, and those people who don't come back, we've instituted court cases, and they've been forced to pay up. And I'd say it's like it's only 1 to 2% of the total scholarship grants we've given, which are in this category. And when we are trying to make it even more stringent in future, and all those people whom the government of Pakistan funds, they have to come back and serve for 5 years in the country. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that when they serve for 5 years, most of them then don't want to go back, because their roots are established, and you also start enjoying your work here. So there's quite a check on brain drain as well, because of the conditions in Pakistani universities are improving fast, inshallah, and we would be able to retain all these scholars.
Ma'am, there is a very blunt query. How many of these who are being provided funding today will continue conducting research in the long run? Or are they carrying it out just to earn promotions? Only time will answer this. Balkis Zahra.
Well, it's like HEC is also on its toes all the time. We have a commission. We go to 21-member commission, and they're all the time pushing and prodding us and telling us to do better. Even the other day, they sent me a mail in which there were some allegations about some journal, and we've just completed the short inquiry, and we will be submitting it to them. So the idea is that at the moment they are supposed to publish a number of articles, and then they are qualifying for promotion. While in some countries, and this is the method which inshallah we've floated to our experts team, and once they approve it, then it will go to the commission for approval. And that is that in some countries, what they do is they follow a system where if your research paper is published in top 25 journals, for instance, this is the quantile method. So if it is published in the top 25 journals, then you only have to publish 5 articles. Okay? So to get out of the regime in which people are focusing on quantity rather than quality. So if your article, your research is of a certain quality, only then the best quality journals will publish it. So then the next, if you fall in the 25 to 50 category, then you have to do 10. And so on. So if it's published in the bottom 25, for instance, of the top 100, then you have to do 15. So that is a way in which we will encourage the scholars to focus on quality research. And I think it's a good proposal, and I hope that it takes root and we are able to convince our commission to change. At the moment, we are following a slightly different paradigm in which the impact factor is the main criteria, which is that how many times your article has been cited, and to come around that, and how many times that journal has been cited. So it creates some free riders because that journal may have been cited because of, one of the 15 articles in it. Many times. So to ensure that there are no free riders, there's another index which is known as the H index. And H index means that if your article is cited once, your article in that journal, then your H index is 1. If it is cited, if another article is cited even 5 times, then your H index is 2. Right? Okay. So on. So H index gets us around that, and in the current system, we've got 6 such indexes from Scopus and Web of Science, and their average is being used. So these are the ways in which we are trying our best to ensure that there is quality research and not quantity. We are not focusing on quantity, and that it's not only, you have to have incentives. We can't do away with incentives because, if you don't, if it's not linked to promotion and a better salary package, then I don't think anyone would be writing those journals. But we need to have a regularized and a good approach in which people deliver, and they do get the benefits as well.
Okay. Of course. Is government increasing funding of basic physical sciences research? It is a question of whether funding priorities should be so heavily skewed towards a few so-called strategic areas. Waleed Kayani. Physical sciences की research पे उनका.
Now here again, all these points are debatable. And we are guided by all those wise men and women on our commission, and even others who write articles. And whatever they say, we try our best to immediately, look into it and try to pick out the good points. So now, if a child wants to carry out research, which is a good proposal in sociology or in economics, these are the social sciences. In the physical sciences, if they have a good proposal, they should carry it out as well. At the moment, this is our strategy. But recently, we have devised. We're going to act upon it now in the month of November and December. What we've decided is that we will be asking the universities, first of all, which are the areas where they feel that our scholars should be going for studies abroad as well as carrying out research in, because it should be demand-based. So when a child enters a university or a higher education institution, their primary concern is employability. Because, we're doing it to have a sustainable, life, have a good standard of living. That's what everyone's parents wants. While at the same time, the government also wants them to have employment, and have a good standard of living. But at the same time, it's the government's duty to guide our resources to areas where it's most needed. So obviously today it's IT, it's science, it's knowledge-based economy, robotics, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. So even this morning we were having a meeting in which we had the MD of the Software Export Board with us, and we were trying, they've got some proposals, and we've got a PSDP project in which we will try and introduce these new dimensions, the requirements of the current market. Those subjects will be picked and taught to the children specifically, so that, because he was telling us that at the moment they are short of around 5,000 at least IT workers. Because, especially because of COVID, COVID has acted as a catalyst. to make us jump into the IT age. Because when you have to sit at home and do work, you need all this setup. You need connectivity on the internet. You need some kind of a machine, a laptop or a tablet, or even an iPhone, a smartphone to interact. Yes, so that is why the demand for these IT youngsters increases. Now I'm sitting here and I've got this young IT person here with me who's facilitating my connectivity with you. So that is, and then in the market. There's a huge market for IT exports, and which Pakistan needs to capture. And to do it, we need our youngsters, our youth. We have a good youth bulge, so we're lucky we've got these youngsters. But we have to polish their skills. We have to ensure that the education they get is in sync with the requirements of the market. So we will be. So I'm digressing a little bit, but I'm just trying to cover and let you know all what we're doing. So while we are modernizing the curricula. We will be encouraging our advisor curriculum today. This morning had a meeting, our project coordinator, HEDP, and also that we don't duplicate efforts. We're trying our best. And then at the same time, the consultations which we've been asked to carry out by some of the members of the commission would include going to the regional capitals and collecting all the representatives of the chambers and asking them, what kind of manpower, what kind of skill sets would you need in the next year, in the next 5 years, right? And then we will be passing it on to the universities and also using it for awarding our research grants, for awarding our scholarships. And we'll also be taking on board the Pakistan Business Council. So we have been sending them routine letters, but this year we've decided that we will follow a more proactive approach and go to them. Because mostly it lands on the desk of some young, very good researcher, but it does not have the inputs of the people of the sector, which are required to really zero in on what we need our students to be taught precisely. So those are the various initiatives which we are taking to ensure that young people are going to be carrying out research, whether in social sciences or physical sciences, that is really needed by the country and which will increase their employability as well.
Okay, ma'am, funds are not enough to produce meaningful research. Research is not an end in itself. Rather, it's needed because our policymakers must have the necessary evidence to reach the right decision. Shaila Qayyum.
Yes, that statement is sort of little bit contradictory, because we do need research. Okay, there's no doubt about it. The young lady is totally right. We need research. We need to make all our decisions based on facts and figures. Our resources are scarce. We need to target them. We need to make targeted interventions where they're really needed. And she's right. We have to spend it on those areas which the research, good research, well-informed decision making takes place. But at the same time, any kind of research, you need money. The consultants have to be hired, they have to be engaged in certain areas like the IT areas. The pay packages are quite hefty. So you have to put in a lot of money to get results. So in public sector universities, we do get it. We do get good research from our faculty. who are doing their own papers, and they are published, but focused research on the issues confronting us now that we're going to carry out this exercise and they come in. We are ready. Like I told you, we've got our local challenge fund, that which is I think it's 100 million, 10 crores, and then our Grand Challenge Fund 200 million, and they need this money. They need to go to a lab. They need to buy materials, testing materials. They need to buy. If it is chemistry, then you need to buy all these acids and things, and everything mostly comes from abroad. So. Of the kind of quality which we need to have quality research. So she's absolutely right. We need to make all our decisions based on research, but at the same time, it does cost money. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, Nazia Afsar has asked, there is a problem related to computerization which researchers generally face. What are the initiatives?
Computerization for HEC is a very important area, and because in today's world and in a country as heavily populated as ours, we are the 5th most populous country in the world, we need automation. We need end-to-end automation, not only for correct dealing and transparency, but simply because the kind of workload we have, the only solution is automation. So at this time, we're putting our foot down, not making any more, creating any more posts to deal with the quantum of work. Rather, we are trying to develop software for end-to-end automation. In many of our divisions, we are successful. In others, we are trying to, and it's not that difficult. It's quite easy, but you need to tweak it again and again to make it customized and in sync with the needs of each department. So computerization is a panacea, and for our all the ills which are all the difficulties which confront many organizations, and they would be able to improve their efficiency. So that is why we are trying to introduce curriculum and changes in it, so that the IT workforce which comes out is savvy in producing software. And not only that, but in every organization we need to have people who are able to come up with their own software, because that would cut down the cost of it. Because I was Secretary Statistics quite 2-3 years ago, and at that time, when I joined that ministry, that division, at that time they were doing everything with paper and pencil, and then you have to correct the data, and then you have to digitize it, and then you put a formula on it, and then it comes out, which takes 3 months or even more. While if then we introduced a software, we began with the the data which is collected for the the price index, the inflation index, how it's worked out, what every week we used to have a basket of goods, and it was so easy, end to end, fully automated, with no human interface, and you got the data so quickly. So you could immediately, एरर के चांसेस भी कम होते हैं, वो फज भी नहीं कर सकते, और आपको एकदम आपको उसका नतीजा मिल जाता है. उसको आप अपनी पॉलिसी को फौरन, अगर आपके जी टमाटर की कीमत चढ़ गई है, तो आप पॉलिसी आपकी ये होगी कि आप उसको जहाँ पे वो ज़्यादा मैन्युफैक्चर हो रहा है वहाँ पे आप TCS टाइप किसी उसको कहें कि वहाँ से वो उसको उठाएं और आप कंट्री ले जाएं. भाई तो वो आपका जो प्रोड्यूसर है उसको भी दे दें. अगर 300 रुपये किलो हो गया है तो वो प्रोड्यूसर को भी तो 100 रुपया जाए, 100 रुपया TCS रख ले और 250 रुपये किलो कंज्यूमर को मिल जाए. लेकिन अगर हमें ये प्राइस डेटा नहीं आता वक्त पे, और तो फिर उसके बाद तो पॉलिसी का रिएक्शन नहीं हो सकता ना, टू सेट इट राइट. तो इसलिए द कंप्यूटराइजेशन एंड ऑटोमेशन एवरीवेयर इज एसेंशियल in today's world, now that we are in such great numbers, and we have to have policies which ensure a good standard of living for all our population.
Ma'am, Qaddus Farooq has asked, library management and functioning is not satisfactory at many universities, and much of the time and energy of researchers are spent in tracing out the books, journals, reports, etc. Is there any solution for that?
Yes, there is. We have the digital library, and I think it's available in all universities. And I was in the university I went to was Punjab University Economics Department. There we had a very good librarian. So we do still have, even HEC, in HEC we have our librarians, and the solution is that the universities need to spend more time on it. We've got our QECs, quality enhancement cells in every university, and I encourage the young man to go and report it to the QEC, and we will take care of it. We'll take it up with the management of the university to ensure that the hard copy, but the library books are easily accessible. Because library management is also library science, and I think in at least in most places I've been to, most libraries, it's all computerized now, so that if you give them the name of a book, they'll tell you who's taken it and when it will come back. So I encourage him to go to the QEC, visit the QEC and make a complaint. And inshallah we'll respond.
Okay. Raja Usman is saying, don't you think the criteria for funding grants within and between the different research councils urgently needs to be standardized?
The standardization part would be that it should be transparent, it should be done by peer reviewers, and the person who's sent in the proposal should know who is who's going to be looking at it, who's going to be reviewing it. So otherwise I think the design of each project is different. Each grant giving program is quite different, and it would be hard to unify them or look at them with a uniform yardstick, because the projects which fall in the domain of physical sciences are different, social sciences are different. But as far as his concern is that it should be done transparently and without use of any other what I can say is that very good governance should be enforced. So for that we get all our panelists to give us a certificate in which they say that they have got nothing to do, they don't have any other interest involved in it, in this, so they have no conflict of interest. So a no conflict of interest certificate is obtained from everyone who sits in a meeting. And we've decided that henceforth in all our other meetings as well, we will request all our participants, because we've got a lot of committees who are doing journals, who are doing research, so we will get all the vice chancellors to give a certificate, a no conflict sign it before the meeting. Else if they have any interest in any item, then the general procedure followed all around the world is that you leave the room while that item is under discussion. So it's a point well made, and inshallah we will take care of it and are taking care of it.
Okay, Ma'am, Saqib Javed is saying, we could also award grants by assessing academic researchers instead of grant proposals.
Maham, can you please? Ji, thank you.
We could also award grants by assessing academic researchers instead of grant proposals.
No, because
That's not possible.
it's a lot of money you're going to give, and the proposal gives you all the nitty gritty, exactly what is going to happen, where she is going to spend it, and what will be the outcome of it, and how it would benefit society. So we need to be very careful. But there is a proposal on the anvil in which all the PhDs, we've got Dr. Ataur Rahman is also a member of our commission. He suggested that we have this, all those PhDs who come back, they should be encouraged to give us proposals, and then we research proposals. So when they're armed with a research proposal, which is funded by the Higher Education Commission, they would be able to secure good jobs in universities when they come back.
Okay. There is insufficient interaction between the university research departments on one side and business establishment, government departments, and research institution on the other side. Numan Bhatt.
Yes, this is correct. Although we are making a lot of efforts to correct this situation and make all our research such that it benefits the society, it benefits the industry. And earlier on you posed a question on challenges which we have in disbursing our research grants and on research in general and how it impacts us. So now we are all very careful. Our research and innovation division is also trying its best to evolve systems through which the grants go to the best of the best. To the best of the best proposals, to those, and what is the best of the best proposal? It's that proposal which is going to benefit the people, which is going to address the issues, which is going to come up with innovative solutions. So that's how we are judging them, and we've got very good systems. Everything is written there, how it is marked, and with a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of those peer reviewers. So inshallah, this gap between industry and academia would be met. The wide gap would be, inshallah, bridged.
Harun Sadiq is saying, what is higher education doing for the lack of scientific training in the methodology of research? This causes unnecessary delays in the completion of research studies.
We discussed those 4 collaborative proposals earlier on. The objective of all these proposals is to expose our researchers to the best methodology, encouraging them to go abroad. So we foot the bill, the government of Pakistan foots the bill, and they go abroad to France, to Turkey, and United States, to the United Kingdom, and there they learn of the best methodology and they come back. Then we've got some other programs in which the researchers go abroad during their PhDs for 6 months only. So during that period also they go and they work totally in those labs and surroundings, and they come back very well equipped and changed and well versed in research methodology.
We could give grants based on merit. This would involve assessing a researcher's track record. However, this doesn't work well for young researchers. What is the future of young researchers?
Young researchers, we've got a number of programs going for them. Under the Kamyab Jawan program, we've launched the Innovation League. Kamyab Jawan Innovation League, and you will soon start hearing about it in all universities, and and youngsters will be encouraged to participate and come up with their innovative products and they will be given good prizes, and then they will go and participate in international events as well. So this time first that it will be done on a regional basis, then on a national basis, and and they'll get prizes. Then similarly, we've got the Innovation Seed Fund, where under the HEDP we encourage them and we give them seed money. I think of $35,000, which is a handsome amount, and then we train them through our business incubation centers, and if they have a good idea, if they have a good, so it's like giving them venture capital, because if it's a new idea, then you fund it through venture capital. So this amount of money goes to them, and not only the money is given, but they're also trained in the business incubation center, in the OREX, on how to, come up with their own startups.
Ma'am, Salika Durrani has asked, there is also the problem that many of our libraries are not able to get copies of old and new acts, rules, reports, and other government publications in time.
She may also go to the QEC and report which library it is, and we can take it up with all the ministries. We can send a circular to them requesting that all new laws, basically the Ministry of Law sets, should be sent to all the universities, university libraries across the country, inshallah. I will look into it otherwise also.
Okay. Yeah. Rarely has qualitative research been done at the grassroots level to get the thoughts of university faculty on the challenges university face. There are many areas which are unexplored. Shifa Khan.
Yes, like I told you now, we are developing a mechanism of consultations so that the universities can pinpoint to us what exactly they want, and I get a lot of visits from vice chancellors who come up and share their ideas and their views, and which are shared with the concerned division, so that we can fine-tune our own policies in accordance with it, to make all our programs very useful for the universities.
Rahman Afzal says, the culture of research at Pakistani universities and research conducted at some public universities was more in the line of being routine, with lack of rigorous critical approaches.
I think it was true a few years ago, and maybe it is true for certain universities, but now with such a lot of people coming back, there are certain indicators which show us that our level of research is going upwards. And we will try to develop these analyses. And this year we are going to commission studies which are going to tell us that in the last year, or a couple of years ago, what were the outcomes of all our incentives based on facts and figures. So we're going to commission these studies. What I'd like to share is that this year Pakistan was given. We were so excited that Pakistan made it to was given the title of the country which rose the most in possessions in terms of number of citations. It is like at least, and this time 40 of our universities in one way or another have been recognized. It's in the QS system, in the Times system, and I think that reflects that our policy is in the right direction, and inshallah we will make a further dent and become the best country in South Asia in higher education, inshallah.
Inshallah. Those scholars who do not contribute to Pakistani society ultimately benefits only personally and do not contribute to public good in Pakistan. Is there any check on them? Zainab Latif.
If we've already discussed this, that if they go on a Pakistani scholarship, it is mandatory for them to come back and serve for 5 years. and all the research work, the research projects. For instance, today we were talking about the Grand Challenge Fund, the Local Challenge Fund. They are there to address local issues and local problems. So inshallah we will be able to get very good solutions, and then people will know about them, that those people who are benefiting from the public sector monies, they are also contributing in a big way to the society, inshallah.
Inshallah. Ineffective use of funding and delays in providing funds result in poor research output, discourage potential postgraduate candidates and university faculty in conducting research.
Well, in HEC, I can check it out. We are giving out all our funding in a timely fashion. And the rule of thumb is not only the rule of thumb, but a requirement of the Planning Commission that we cannot release the next tranche, the next grant, until and unless they've utilized the money already given to them. So that's the situation. So, and the moment they've done it, we give it. And in the last 2 years, we've seen a free flow of funding from the government. Although some checks and balances have been introduced, like assignment accounts. So the assignment accounts is the idea that since the government borrows the money on interest rate, then the money actually goes to the project coordinator or project PD only when he or she really needs it directly from. So it's not kept in commercial banks and all, and interest enjoyed by those who were meant to carry out research. So that is the reason why now we insist upon assignment accounts, and inshallah there will be no delays.
Okay, ma'am, we have some shortage of time, so I would quickly narrate some queries. आप एंड पे उनको conclude कर दीजिएगा. More funding should be allocated to resources and support structure for the university faculty to assist them in developing quality research proposals. That's a suggestion. Funding for universities and especially research should be increased and utilized effectively. The fact that government funds the public universities doesn't give it the right to interfere in all affairs of universities. Noor Sadiq. Quality research in all areas should be given equal importance and encouraged for publication in high-rated journals. It's so difficult to publish articles which demotivates researchers for further research. Bakas Kashmiri. In research, academic freedom should be guaranteed and restrictions on academic freedom imposed by government and political parties must be eradicated. Huzaifa Waraij. The government should utilize the research findings and involve academics as consultants in some of the decision-making process and policy-making. Khurram Manzoor. Responsible bodies for enhancing research at university and society as a whole should critically evaluate some terminologies used in so doing must be careful when equating higher education with economic prosperity. Abid Khalid. If we start the project before funding, it's in hand, we can reimburse ourselves for expenses we already spent when fund arrives. Suleiman Akbar. When applying for research funding, one is forced to submit novel ideas for cutting-edge research and development projects to funding bodies. This submitting researchers will not know who reviewed the grant applications, and often it appears that grants are rejected because of reviews that are rather politically motivated instead of quality-based. Usman Amir. Economics of different countries is collapsed because of COVID. What do you think? What will be opportunities of funding at higher studies after this pandemic?
That's it.
Ma'am, there are a few more. Currently, I am doing research with topic environmental sustainability, income inequality, and health outcome. Anyone can suggest where should I apply for research funding? Ghazala. Once students got appointed as assistant professor, they simply stopped carrying out research. What do you think is the reason behind that? Safi Ahmed. Now that the government is providing substantial research funds to public sector universities, a major hurdle has been removed. The step is long overdue and thus commendable. It's now up to the universities to produce the desired results. Ali Wajid. When it will be started again, from where forms can be downloaded? Jia Tariq. When program will be started again? And mostly students ने ये पूछा भाई ये research grants कब start होंगी?
Research grants इस वक्त started हैं और they're most welcome to they've started and they're most welcome to contact our research and innovation division, and we will be really pleased to assist them and facilitate them, and if they have any impediment in doing so, they're most welcome to contact me. And I can also facilitate them, inshallah. And I'm really pleased that there are so many youngsters who are eager to carry out research, and so it's a fascinating field. And other questions which were posed were about the government engaging researchers and all. So already I think the government, it's for instance all the PSDP projects, we cannot undertake them without a feasibility study. And we cannot move ahead without a concept paper. So all these are written by researchers and consultants whom we engage, all the ministries. So rest assured that all the decisions are largely made on the basis of facts and figures and numbers, and they are well informed. But always you can, I'm basically an economist, a student of economics, and you know that you can have the choice of, between research in the medical field or in the engineering field. And then with hindsight, you may feel that I wish I'd, carried out research in the medical field instead of the engineering field. So though that is there, but otherwise, to the best of our abilities, we try to, give out these research grants to the best of the best. And HEC's got no say in it. We only act as a secretariat, and it's the peer review panels. And like one of the questioners said, they shouldn't know, they don't know. Since they have to judge who is, what background the applicant has, the principal investigator has. So they do have, the peers have the access to the names, but those who've submitted proposals, they do not know about it. And then the pro forma is rigorous, and they have to record reasons and why they are awarding it to someone and why they are not awarding it to someone. And we, upon request, those proposals which are turned down, we hand out the details to them. I've sent it once myself.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming to the show. It was very research grants program, जिसमें हमने पाकिस्तान में जो research grants दी जा रही हैं उनके बारे में बात की. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming to the show. We'll be having our next Kachehri with some new topic. Till then, Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, and thank you. Thank you.